Hello, Pep. Nice to see you again. Hope you had a happy Easter. If I can start with injuries updates, please, if I may. Ruben actually got injured in this reverse fixture, didn't he? How's he doing?
He's getting better, but he's not ready for Sunday.
Do you have a time frame?
No.
John Stones, calf. I know he was on the subs bench. Is he ready for minutes? He was out again, wasn't he, last time?
Today maybe we'll do a partial training. We'll see.
And Matteo?
Kovacic?
Kovacic, sorry,
yeah, it's fine.
And Josko, I know it's probably a little bit longer for him, but just how is he doing?
He's getting better too, but still is not close.
Great. Thank you for that. April, historically, has been really good for you and Manchester City, certainly in terms of points. I make it you've won 28 of the last 31 in the Premier League in the month of April, 2.5 points on average a game. So is it possible to describe what, if anything, changes in this month that is so markedly different than the other months?
Hopefully we can do a lot of points. It's at the situation that we are in the Premier League, so we need to do all of them. Otherwise we will not give us a chance to try it until the end. So we need to do a lot of points. We were not consistent enough during the season. We dropped points that we should take it, and that's why we're in the position that now we cannot do it differently.
Hi, Pep. Just on that, does April bring anything more out of you? Do you feel more excitement when this time of the year comes around in the season?
No, I have a lot of yellow cards. That means how excited I am. So no, not just for April. During the season, I had a good energy. I have still good energy.
And Arsenal are top play in the early kick-off tomorrow. In this time of the season, does playing before another team who's challenging could make any difference?
We have to do our games. So playing before or later. Now remaining few games for the Premier League, so you have to win every single game.
Hi, Pep. Pep Lijnders said after the Liverpool game that every good story comes to an end and that he hopes Bernardo Silva has a good farewell. Has Bernardo told you that he's leaving?
I don't know. I'm so grumpy with Bernardo because a month ago I said, "You take a decision. I had to be the first to tell me," and didn't say to me anything yet. So I think the proper one must be Bernardo. I don't know how I already decided, to be honest, because I said joking. So tell me, I deserve, but didn't tell me. So I don't know what's going on. So
no player has played more for you than Bernardo Silva. What has made him so special?
Again, so he's really good in all departments. So play a lot of games because we have been 9 years together, no injuries, never. I would say he's outside and he's playing different positions. He's so smart and read every moment what the action, the game require. So that's why. When you play a lot of games, it's because give us a lot of trust and confidence what is going to perform.
Can I just ask about Bernardo's different positions? There was a game at Chelsea in 2021 where you won 1-0, Jesus scored. I think it might have been the first time Silva played alongside Rodri. And obviously you'd sort of sign him as a winger from Monaco. Can you talk about his sort of progression positionally over the years?
No, it's not about the progression. There are players that. So one of the dreams I think as a manager, every player could play except the keeper in all the positions. That means you understand the game. You have a physicality to adapt in many positions, and especially intelligence to play in the positions. And of course, a winger in the year of the treble, the decisive part of the season, play as a winger. All the time, and attacking midfielder can play, but is not a player like make, I would say, a lot of goals or runners in behind, but is intelligent to read the tempos of the game, and I like when he's involved in all the process, especially in the first part of the pitch. And maybe because old, and normally when you get old, you go back and back and back positions. But yeah, as a player, can play in everywhere because he's so smart. The biggest detail of Bernie is he's so intelligent, so smart, reading what is going on, what you have to do. And not all of them have this ability. The other players have another complete ability, much better than Bernie, but in these terms, that's why intelligent players I like to play in the middle, because read what's going on or what's happening.
But I think when you did drop him further back for the first time, it was a bit of a surprise to people, because obviously we were all used to seeing him higher up the pitch. What is it about him that you felt that he could excel
in the training
that role?
sessions? You see in the trainings, and you see you need more touches or more control or whatever decision. I don't remember, that was the first time, 2021. 21, I don't remember, it's a long time ago. So, but I during the training sessions, the ability or capabilities that they can do, they move. I said, okay, that guy for what can adapt in that position, and that's why we try.
Pep, is Bernardo the perfect captain? He seems like a natural leader.
The best decision I made this season.
How does he compare to some of the other captains that
Have
you've
been
worked
good
with?
too. The previous ones have been good too. Don't tell me this is better than the other ones. So because everyone is everyone, but everyone captain is simple. You think the team comes first. You know, sometimes the politicians say something like that. No, the country comes first, and after never comes first. So in Bernardo, it's what it is. So, and most of the captains I had always you have to think what is the team require, and not all of them can be possible. But normally it happen when in the good moments the team comes first. But in the bad moments is when you have to be. You know,
how much
when it's
credit?
against you personally, you know, in terms of playing or in terms of something like that, and you put the team or the club organization first, and not all of them is able to do that.
So how much credit does he take then for being the leader in this season, where there have been some difficult moments, and yet you have a trophy in the cabinet, you're in the semi-finals of
Last
another
season
one?
was the biggest example. What I've said last season was the toughest one. I don't understand why, or the reason why everybody knows it, and always was there. And leading by example, because always is playing, always is training good, and that was.
Pep, sorry, another one on Bernardo. You know how good he is. Obviously, you've spoken a lot on how good he is. We all know how good he is. We've seen him over this last sort of 9 years, but he never really seems to be mentioned in
Honestly,
the kind
it
of...
looks a farewell press conference from Bernie. Didn't tell me what it looks like.
He never really seems to get mentioned in the kind of mix when it comes to individual awards. Is he underrated because he puts the... Is he underrated, and is that because he kind of puts the team first, like you were saying?
No, because the way, you know, is not the tallest one, is not the most dressed one. The dressable one is not, I don't know, make 50 goals a season, don't make it 50 assists a season. You know, it's this type of players that everyone spotlights and everybody, you know, talk about. But always that's what I think, my point of view. From 9 years, I know him quite well, what the team requires. And for the managers, so it's maybe I've been with another managers, all the managers would say, I'm pretty sure of that. The same I'm saying. How much, you know, the manager can love him because always is thinking, is incredibly competitive, have a fire inside, always. In the toughest moment, biggest stages, is always there. Because I said many times, so in the big games, it's not about playing good or playing bad, it's being there, be yourself. I'm not afraid of. And Bernie, all these attributes had since the day one he arrived from Monaco. So it has been an incredible sign for us. Incredible. Love, honestly, because I love this club amazingly. So I would love he could stay and finish his career here. But you know, I don't know. He's going to decide when he's going to decide. Announce to the club. I think announce all of you, the media, the fans, and everyone. This is his decision. But have been an incredible sign. So the numbers and the minutes and the titles and especially that in bad moments. So I justify and I define the players in the bad moments when everything it's difficult, how always may step up and say, I'm here to help.
Yeah, had a really good conversation myself. Had 3 or 4 with Enzo. He's apologised to me. He's apologised to the club, and we'll deal with that after a massive game on Sunday.
Can I ask what form the apology took? Was it a written one? Was it a meeting
No,
with a cup of tea? Was it pies at the pub over the road?
I don't know if it's a serious meeting. It's a serious meeting about something very serious. To Enzo, I said from every single step along this way, I'm not questioning Enzo's character. I'm not questioning who he is as a person. I believe people make mistakes, and you can't overstep the punishment for the mistake. I think we've made a sanction. We made a decision. I made a decision. And what I want for Enzo is for him to go on here and have an outstanding career.
So you forgive and forget, but not forget just yet. He's still not going to play on Sunday.
No, he won't play on Sunday. But hopefully after that, he'll be a massive part of the group moving forward. There's still a few hurdles that need to be overcome that I won't go into. But at the same time, I want every player really, really focused now on a huge running.
Sorry to go on about it, and we're coming to an end, but is that not shooting yourselves in the foot? Is the best player certainly in that position?
It's not about it. The football is a team sport. It's not about individuals. It's not about shooting yourself in the foot. There are certain values and cultures that I believe in, that this club believe in, that makes the team stronger if you get that right.
And what about, it's been mentioned, I have to say not by Arsenal, but people have mentioned on Arsenal's behalf the integrity of the competition.
Who's mentioned that?
I've heard pundits, I've heard...
I haven't heard that.
Is that a concern?
No, I've got an outstanding squad full of outstanding players. It's still a very difficult team to pick in terms of the starting 11. I need to get that right in the next few days.
In terms of team news then, anyone back who has been out for this game?
No, but the positive is Este having the 90 minutes against Port Vale. In terms of any others, Trevor's working really, really hard. He's back on pitch. Levi's full training, but he still needs to overcome some hurdles in terms of selection. Reece has been running today, which is great. But no, I've got a good squad and we're ready to go and take on Man City.
So it sounds like all those 3 maybe not quite...
They're not ready for Man City.
Next few weeks as
well.
Obviously Callum was in charge before you came in, when Chelsea went to City, got a result there. It's pretty rare actually in the last 5 years for Chelsea to get a result against Man City, not beating Man City since the Champions League final. So have you spoken to him about what he did, how he got the result?
Of course, I spoke to Callum when I first joined the club. I was actually watching that game in an airport on a plane ready to come here to talk to the club. I thought their performance, especially in the second half, was outstanding. Obviously, we know what a fantastic team Manchester City are, full of world-class players, an unbelievable coach, but we know if we put our game together, we get the game plan right, the mentality right, we can cause them problems.
And you said before that Pep's been a big influence on your coaching career, even maybe a bit of an idol and a hero of yours, but there'll be none of that once the whistle blows.
No, huge respect. You can have respect. I don't have a big enough ego to not respect people. I think Pep's influenced everyone in football. He's influenced the game and he's an unbelievable coach. He's had an unbelievable career. But no, I want my team to show what we're capable of on Sunday.
Thanks, Gary. Alex?
Hi, Liam, how are you?
Good.
Must win for Manchester City in their title hopes, but is it just as important for Chelsea?
Yes, 3 points. That takes us closer to our objective, which right now is to qualify for the Champions League. That's all we can focus on. We have teams who will fight relegation, teams who are mid-table, teams who are pushing at the top end of the league. It doesn't matter because every game is so difficult in this league, and we know it's going to be a big challenge on Sunday, but one that we're looking forward to.
You've just said how highly you rate Manchester City, back-to-back wins and going to this against Arsenal and Liverpool playing so well. How do you beat them when they're playing like that? Can you?
Of course we can. We're a very good team who've gone through a difficult run, even though in that run we were punished for mistakes. There were good moments when I actually analysed the games that we've had. We've caused every team we've played against problems, but haven't had the results for that. We need to make sure that we keep the back doors shut. We need to not switch off. We need to not make mistakes because Manchester City will punish you. But I still want us to go out and play our game.
Moises Caicedo will make his 100th Premier League appearance if he plays. What makes him such a good fit for Chelsea in the Premier League, would you say?
Moy, for me, is one of the best defensive midfield players, if not the best defensive midfield player in world football, because of his intelligence, his physicality, his technical quality, how he understands the game, and he's going to be huge for us on Sunday.
Just finally, Pep, you've already spoken about him, but he's coming up to 10 years at Manchester City. How would you sum up that decade for Pep Guardiola?
Yeah, he's won trophies, he's reinvigorated the team, he's refreshed the team. He also had time to put his style together. And when you have that with the record he's had, not just at Manchester City, but Bayern Munich and then Barcelona, he's an unbelievable manager. One that you look to because he's had such a good career.
Thank you. Good luck on Sunday.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. Nizar?
Hi Liam, I just wondered, with the week to prepare and having the international break as well, is there a chance we might see a different style of Liam Rossini team, maybe, with extra training time on the pitch and things like that?
It's been nice. It's been the first week since I've been here that we've had 2 clear training days in a row to work on things. I don't think a magician can make a team look exactly how he wants to in the time that I've been at the club, but I want to adapt, I want to evolve the team, but never at the expense of winning in the short term. You can't change too much too soon, and that's something that I looked at with the staff. We looked at any international break to make sure we don't change too many things so that we can win games in the short term but still work towards what we want in the long term.
Has that been a challenge throughout your time? Because it feels like there are things that you're changing, but there's obviously some similarities still with your predecessor. Is that one of the big challenges in terms of the inconsistency that you might have had as well?
I think that's not an excuse. Any manager that comes in the middle of I think the start of January, you have 20 games in 10 weeks with a new group, a new club. You're trying to get to know those players. You're trying to pick them. Obviously, I watched before all of the games. You try and make evaluations as you're in because you get to know the players better. That's difficult for anyone. But for me, it's making sure we use the time the best that we possibly can. I know where I want my team to get to. I know what I want the team to look like. That may take time, but it cannot be at the expense of winning games and fulfilling our short-term objectives.
Could I just ask you, the players mentally refreshed? You said you needed a bit of a reset. Have you seen that in the players?
They look really, really good. I feel you saw that. I know it was a game that we expected to win, but I felt the way we went about the game against Port Vale was very, very good. And hopefully that springboards the rest of our running.
Thanks, Nizar. Simon?
Hi, Liam. Chelsea haven't beat Man City, as Gary said, 5 years. It's 12 games. Is there a concern that it's a mental barrier as much as an ability one?
No, that's in the past. It's in the past. The record that's happened before this game has no relevance on the game. We need to focus on what's going to be a really difficult game.
Do you think, though, that a win over Man City could be a great launching pad for what you want to achieve for the rest of the season?
Of course, it's 3 points closer to our objective. That's what it is, and that's what we're focusing on.
Arsenal's internal shakeup continues, and the latest departure signals that the restructuring behind the scenes is far from over. James Ellis has stepped down from his role as technical director just 7 months after being promoted. According to BBC Sport, Ellis, who only took on the position last August after serving as head of recruitment, has now left the club amid what appears to be a wider internal overhaul. His exit doesn't come in isolation. In December, Arsenal appointed former Napoli executive Maurizio Micheli to a senior recruitment role, a move widely seen as part of the club's long-term structural reset. Just months earlier, Andrea Berta had been confirmed as sporting director, effectively replacing Edu Gaspar. That appointment alone signaled a new era. Now, with Ellis gone, the transformation feels even more deliberate. Ellis joins Edu and former CEO Vini Venkatesham among high-profile departures from the Emirates hierarchy. Both Edu and Venkatesham moved on to new roles, Edu taking on a global director of football position at Nottingham Forest, and Venkatesham joining Tottenham. However, neither situation appears entirely stable. Edu's time at the City Ground has reportedly been turbulent. Nottingham Forest's dramatic drop in form since his arrival has raised serious questions about the project's direction, and indications suggest his tenure there may not last much longer. Meanwhile, at Tottenham, Venkatesham has come under intense scrutiny from Spurs supporters, particularly for his initial backing and continued support of Thomas Frank, even as results and performances deteriorated from December onward. Eventually, Igor Tudor was appointed interim manager, and his first match in charge came in the most demanding fixture possible, the North London derby against Arsenal. Despite having just 7 days in the job, the 47-year-old Tudor understands the magnitude of the occasion and the adversity he's facing. "We trained with 13 players," Tudor admitted. "That's the reality. It's not ideal, but in moments like this, the challenge becomes even greater. And so does the opportunity to succeed." He added confidently, "We will have 13 players ready, and that's more than enough to achieve what we want on Sunday. I understand the importance of this match. It's a North London derby. Everyone expects 3 points from us. We are aware of that." Arsenal, however, arrive at the derby carrying frustration of their own. Consecutive draws against Wolves and Brentford have slowed their momentum, and Mikel Arteta made it clear there could not be a better fixture to respond. "It's the next game, and it's the one we're most excited to play," Arteta said. "If we could play today, we would. We have to use that feeling in our stomach the right way, and show it on Sunday." There are also selection decisions looming. Despite Eberechi Eze scoring 3 times in the reverse fixture, his place in midfield is no longer guaranteed. Competition has intensified, particularly after positive fitness updates on Kai Havertz and Martin Odegaard, both capable of operating in similar roles. "We'll have to wait until tomorrow," Arteta said cautiously. "But there's a strong possibility that both of them will be available." With tension rising both on and off the pitch, this derby feels bigger than usual. Arsenal are reshaping their leadership structure. Tottenham are battling instability, and both clubs are searching for momentum at a crucial stage of the season. Sunday won't just be about 3 points. It's about direction, identity, and control in North London. The broader picture, however, stretches beyond one derby or one boardroom exit. What is unfolding at Arsenal is a defining phase, a moment where structural decisions off the pitch could shape the club's competitiveness for years to come. The departure of James Ellis raises natural questions about continuity and recruitment strategy. Arsenal have invested heavily in building a data-driven, modern scouting network over the past few seasons. Under Mikel Arteta's leadership, recruitment has largely aligned with a clear footballing identity: younger profiles, tactical intelligence, technical security, and long-term resale value. Now, with Maurizio Micheli and Andrea Berta positioned as key figures, the club appears to be centralizing authority even further. For supporters, the concern isn't necessarily change, it's instability. Frequent turnover at executive level can create uncertainty during crucial transfer windows. With the summer approaching and expectations growing after consecutive near-title pushes, Arsenal cannot afford missteps in squad planning. Rivals are strengthening. Margins are thin. Every decision matters. On the pitch, the North London derby carries added psychological weight. Arsenal's recent draws against Wolves and Brentford weren't just dropped points. They dented momentum at a critical juncture of the season. Title races are often defined by response, how quickly a team reacts after disappointment. Arteta understands that narrative. Privately, there is belief within the squad that performances have not dipped as sharply as results suggest. Arsenal have maintained strong possession metrics, defensive structure, and chance creation numbers in recent matches. The issue has been efficiency, converting control into decisive moments. Against Tottenham, that margin for waste disappears. For Spurs, the situation feels even more volatile. Igor Tudor's interim appointment reflects urgency rather than long-term planning. Training sessions with limited numbers underline the squad's injury struggles, and depth will be tested against one of the league's most organized sides. Yet derby matches rarely follow logic. Emotional intensity often overrides tactical predictability. Another layer to the story is the competitive landscape at the top of the table. With Manchester City and Liverpool maintaining relentless standards, any slip can reshape the standings instantly. Arsenal know that draws at this stage can feel as damaging as defeats. The pressure is no longer about proving progress. It's about delivering silverware. Internally, Arteta's message has reportedly been direct: block out external noise. The boardroom reshuffle, media speculation, and scrutiny around player selection cannot bleed into matchday focus. Leadership inside the dressing room, particularly from senior figures, becomes crucial in moments like this. There is also anticipation around the possible return of Kai Havertz and Martin Odegaard. Their availability would not only boost tactical flexibility, but also restore leadership and composure in key phases of play. If both are fit, Arteta faces a selection dilemma, but one he would welcome. In North London, perception shifts quickly. One result can calm doubts or intensify them. A victory would reassert Arsenal's authority, silence questions about momentum, and reinforce belief in the current project despite executive turnover. A setback, however, would amplify concerns about consistency at the worst possible time. Ultimately, this is a convergence of narratives, structural change, title ambition, squad depth challenges, and historic rivalry. The derby will not define the entire season, but it will send a message. And right now, both clubs are desperate to control that message.